Good evening, brothers. Welcome to another episode of Safe Not Soft. We apologize for last week if we had any technical difficulties with the audio. If you tuned in, thank you for fellowshipping with us and bonding with us. And again, hopefully the audio situation won't happen again. And the last week we talked about right marriage and households over Ephesians and how we as men, need to be in a household as a structure, and we got to take accountability over that. And we're kind of gonna not directly continue on it, but we're gonna continue on the expectations of in the marriage. So now we have the responsibility of the household, but now we're gonna go into some expectations of marriage. And first, so an expectation period is what it's like coming into something with preconceived notions of this is the way it's gonna be in my head. I see it playing out this way, and that's the way it's gonna be, right? So if we do the same thing with everything, and we do with marriage, we probably all did it with marriage. Oh, by the way, I've been married only 4 years,
Come on.
4.5. Pastor Ray,
It'll be 18 years at the end of February.
18 years.
It was 2009, so 14 years.
14.
Ooh, yeah.
So, I'm the baby. I'm the baby in the group. The least amount of experience in marriage, but it's all right because we're all here to learn from each other, and so expectations. Let's name a few of them off. What do you guys?
I don't know. I like a clean house. I like dinner to be made.
And we'll talk as we name them off. We'll talk about maybe the top priority ones, and see how.
Perfect marriage.
Ooh, perfection.
Yes.
Dang. I just there's money and sex, right? Money, sex, and power. Last week we kind of talked about power as in the how we are in we have that role, and money, sex, and power makes the world go round, right? So sex and money, I think, will be two of the big ones that we'll talk about tonight as well. I think expectations. I heard this recently. It's a lot of marriage, a lot of people, a lot of couples that come and get married have a false sense of expectations due to movies, social media. The highlight, the perfect way, the way it should be. I mean, if you watch a movie, romance is like 24/7, right? It's always there. They always got the flowers or whatnot, and the things are perfectly said. So, I would say, I can't speak for women, but I feel like from a woman's perspective, that may be the notion of like, this is how marriage should be. This is how a man should court me because this is what I want, and it's been displayed for me for all these years, and now this is how it's gonna be when I get married.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say also. We have that notion of what romance is, and as gentlemen, I don't think we talk about what romance is. We have different perspectives on romance. Like my perspective of what romance would be like my wife, cooking me an elaborate steak dinner, making sure everything is good to go at the house. It's like, and making sure that my needs were met in that sense. Whereas her perspective of romance would be flowers. Dead plants. I don't get that, but flowers, chocolates or candy of some sort. Movies and stuff like that, and that's all fine and dandy. But as long as there's both an understanding of what that perspective is, I think that's what makes a marriage a little bit more different. Because my wife knows, that I'm very, I guess I would say, frugal in this sense. So she knows that if she wants to do anything, like kind of like set the romantic mood and stuff, she won't go all out. And I'm totally, the cheeseburger, I'm happy camper. But if I want to go all out for my wife, it's like, okay, well, let me go ahead and get a sitter if I have to, or take my kids and we'll go to a restaurant and stuff, and and go from there. But it's just that different perspective of romance and coming to understanding about what it is in our marriage that kind of makes it flow a little bit better. So
yeah. For myself, coming into this marriage, I was thinking like I was gonna be the perfect husband. Since I've been married before, I'm thinking, man, I already know what I gotta do. Things that I didn't do in the past, I'm gonna do in this time. And yeah, right. I was thinking it was gonna be like that, but nah, it's you always learning something new. Yes, I would love to be the perfect husband, but man, there's no way. There's no way. There's only one person that's perfect. That's Jesus.
Amen.
But I just pray. I say, Lord, help me. Even though I think I had it before. I knew everything about marriage. You know, I don't know anything. So yeah, nah. There's no perfect husband or perfect wife. So.
That's right.
So yeah. I mean, that expectation went.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even think about that expectation because I mean I feel like that's too much to live up to. I couldn't imagine holding my wife to a standard of like perfection or me trying to. I'd drive myself crazy and like fail in a heartbeat. I mean, I failed
Yes.
today, yesterday, the day before, every single day. Before we continue on expectation, what do you, I don't know, would you guys be open or willing to share maybe some of your stories and like on how you expect who expected to be a perfect husband
Yes.
and such and then how we failed as the expectations did not come reality.
Let's see, which story should I use?
I got
Probably fixing stuff around the house. Like my wife has the expectation, like, hey, if anything breaks, fix it. I mean, I can try to fix things. I'm not like that savvy or anything, but it does take me time to kind of research and do it or do something. I would say that I fall short greatly in that expectation. Just because I mean, if it's broken, it's like yeah, I'll fix it, but I do take my time. I procrastinate a lot. That's what I'm trying to say. So
procrastination, man.
Yeah, man. I think coming in, I was thinking I was gonna be the handyman. I mean, I was gonna do everything. And something needs to be fixed. I was gonna be the one. But man, that I got surprised. My wife, she's the handyman. She's the one that, man, she gets on it, bro. She just like, something is broken. She goes, I'm going to do it myself. And she goes and, man, she does it real good.
So you had the expectation of being the handyman, but turns out she's the handyman. How did that make you feel? Like, did that like flourish your marriage, or did that like hinder your
No,
pride?
I love it because now I can see that, what, if I cannot do it, I know she's gonna be able to do it, and that right there just gives me more freedom, like to trust in my wife, and that gives me the freedom to push my wife to even do more things, like.
Yeah.
You know what? Whatever you want to do, you can do it. And I'm my wife's biggest supporter. Like I support you in anything. The stuff that she done before, where she would say, "Man, I don't think so." I said, "Yeah, you know what? You got this. You got this. You got this." Eventually, she accomplished anything that she wanted.
Amen.
So yeah, right there. I'm happy that she's the handyman of the house. Yes, woo, man. Well, sometimes something gets brought down, and I call my wife back. Can you fix that for me? And she does it for me. So, oh hallelujah.
Being that I'm still like freshly married, in perspective, with you guys, I could remember fresh in my mind lots of expectations that I've had prior to marriage, and that I got smacked in the face quite a few times. Kicked down the stairs, and when we first moved in, even the smallest things that you wouldn't expect. I've washed dishes a certain number of way for all these years, and now I come in with my wife, and now I got my soap, I got my sponge, and I'm gonna wash the dishes. And we had one of the biggest arguments because she didn't want to use a sponge or because it smells or whatnot. I'm like, dude, like, what is this? Or, in that same day, I think we got another fight. The trash can. After I'm done with something, the trash is right there. I like to throw it away. Boom. Here's this pen, trash. No, the trash can has to be hidden. I had my expectations because been my whole life, the trash can's right there. I'm going to throw it away. Her family and how she grew up, trash can was hidden. You pull it out, you throw your stuff in, you put it back away. It's done. And, there's those tiny little details of expectations that you hold for yourself create a big conflict in your marriage, or can create a big conflict in your marriage if you're not willing to change. And I was not, because, no, I want to do things my way. And she's like, I want to do things my way too. and I think she ended up winning. But
Man,
still, still there.
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
No, we do a lot too. I mean, there's also the expectation that we have as men is making sure that we take care of our household, the finances, making sure that we set a certain standard of living, and that we kind of maintain it for the most part. And that's, I mean, I hate to say it, but it does also have pressure on us to make sure that we we bring the bacon home.
Yes.
We come home and some of us are tired. We want to relax, but then it's like, okay, we still have to do our husband duties as well, and then go from there. And
Yes.
but we also have to take into account, like, what does she go through all day? Because I mean, I can only imagine being around kids all day.
Crying kids,
Yeah,
yelling
yeah.
kids.
Yeah, that's a pain as it is, and
clean the house and getting all dirty again all over because
Yeah.
of the kids.
you wash all the dishes all nice and clean, and then like rah, 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 and then you have a pile of dishes all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I can only imagine how frustrating it would be for a wife to do that. So
And for myself, I retired in 2009. Right. So 2009 I retired, and but they give you, I mean, every month it's not enough, So, and I couldn't work no more. So my wife, she's the one that, says, you know what, I'm gonna start working, and I'm the one that stayed home, and taking care of my two daughters. It wasn't easy, and now she's working, she's coming home late, and I can see sometimes as a husband and father, like we lose so many things with our kids, to the point that my wife, it's like, man, my girls they're getting older, and I go to work, they stay with you, you take them to school, you do everything, and sometimes I don't really get, time to spend with them, but man, staying home with kids, it's hard to.
Oh yeah.
So I understand, what moms go through.
Mainly the women. Yeah, mainly the moms.
Yeah,
the
yes.
wives.
And at the same time, I said, okay, so now I'm not making the kind of money I was making before. Now I have to create some kind of income for myself where I can go to work too, and which I did, and that right there, it balanced everything, It doesn't mean that we have everything that we want, but at least, we stay in a flow. So yeah.
Man.
I mean, sometimes, fathers need to stay home, Like my son, I'm already retired. So what I do, I have to stay home and take care of my daughters. And now my grandkids now. Hallelujah. Yes. But yeah, man, it's hard sometimes, but it's all good, so.
I'm just hearing you talk right now. I just thought of something that I hadn't thought of. Sometimes the expectations that we come in our minds with, they're our own downfall in a sense. And I want to share, because I'm just, when I first got married, hey, the wife, the kids, get the big house, get the nice cars or whatever, just the American dream and whatnot. And we were living in a small condo, and my wife was happy. She liked it. It wasn't too much to clean, and and the kids were small and everything. They just shared their rooms, but my wife was happy, and me, my expectations like, I expect to have the big house for the kids and everything. And now, when we end up buying a house, much older home, it's really big, it's really expensive, and now, because I thought that's what my expectations were as a fact, that's what we need.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now from that, I'm not saying it's not my downfall, but it created a whole lot of more problems for me, and expectations of finances and providing, and now it takes away from spending time with the kids, because now I have to work more. It just, I put myself in the hole to try to live up to my own expectations.
That's true. Yeah, no, same thing, with, especially ministry, we have expectations of what a minister should be like and how we act and how we are. And one thing my wife always told me when we first started, in the faith was that, hey, people know you, like people recognize you. So, make sure that, the expectation is that you are changed in Christ. So you do have to essentially transform our mind and not be conformed to the patterns of this world.
Yes.
Romans 12.
Yeah. So, and that, to me, that was one of the biggest challenges, because being a military man, I mean, I mean, military men don't curse at all, but you know,
Oh man.
or having that mentality where you get things done and you knife hand and what have you, and then coming home and turning it off as a switch and then being that gentle, loving dad, and that to me was also difficult to transition into, because on one hand I'm deploying every other year, and then I come home, and then on the other hand I have to like be soft and be a gentleman, when I get home, and it's kind of hard when you act like a gentleman. That's awesome, but at work, we have such high standards for things to do. Like I would get mad if somebody didn't tell me good morning. And at home it's like first thing's like, oh yeah, you're throwing out the trash like against your, I mean, that's kind of that's the expectation. But we have to make sure that we abide by certain standards and rules and do so.
Yes.
So.
Ooh.
Money is what I mean. I haven't looked at the statistic lately, but it's one of the biggest factors when it comes to divorce, right? And I mean, when I got married, I'm not sure if you guys, but I didn't think, money is. In my head, money's not going to be a factor in a marriage, and it's not going to be an issue. It's not going to be a problem. That was my expectation. The reality is, it's wrong. It is the issue. It is something that's fought about. It is, hey, how should we spend? What should we fix first? Can we take a vacation? Should we take a vacation? Can we get the kids new clothes? Oh no, we can't afford the kids new clothes. Let's go to the Goodwill. No, I don't want to take them to the Goodwill. You can go on and on money expectations and how.
Yeah, Vanessa worked for my wife. She worked for up until 2013, but that was a huge because we both worked. So because we both worked, our kids had we had to get a sitter for for my son Ray at the time, and my daughter was going to a little private type of school. So the expectation was like, yeah, we had to pay our bills and we had a certain standard to meet to live, and we knew that that it would be detrimental for our kids if we continued this way. So we had to change our lifestyle a little bit. But I mean, the military kind of bless the military that they do take care of their troops for the most part. But yeah, I mean, we still have we live on a fixed income, so we still have those issues where how much do we save, how much do we spend, what do we buy, what we don't buy. Like every other month, my kids keep outgrowing their clothes, so that's a bummer. But and also as a dad, you do want to provide the best that you can for your kids, because we probably we didn't grow with it. I sure didn't. So we try to withhold from ourselves to provide for our kids. And I think I don't think that's the expectation that society has for us, but I think that's the one that we put on ourselves, that hey, let me go ahead and not get what I want, and so I can provide for my kids, or my wife, or what have you. So but yeah, money is a huge factor.
Oh yes,
yeah, it's a huge thing.
For myself, I'm the one that say I like to say money, because in my mind I already know, like, okay, we have a life, we got cars, we got you never know what's gonna happen. Let's say in your car, you need a brand new tire,
Yeah, that's true.
They usually go for $200, $300, and if you don't have the money, then you're gonna be without a car. So I'm always thinking about those things. So I'm always saving up money, because when something happens, let's do it. Hey, we need a new tire. Let's go get that tire. My wife, she's the one that she, when she goes to the store, she buys clothes for everybody. Every time you see me out there, that's my wife. She bought everything for me. And then she knows she knows where to get the good deals. Where before, I mean, I used to carry like $200, and she would just come with one outfit, for her and the girls. How about me? Now with $200, she can go to the store. She can get 2 outfits for her, for the girls 3 or 4, and she still gets from me like, oh, I mean, she's the one that goes and spends the money, But I'm just relaxed, and you know what? I just gotta be saving up money, because something is always gonna happen. Something is gonna go. Something is gonna break.
Yeah.
So I'm always, the one that, hey, let's get a new one because we got the money. So
that's probably the smartest approach to take too. Is that we'll do the saving, but let the gals do the maintaining.
The shopping, do everything. So. Yeah. And we still do the cooking.
Another expectation right there. Cooking. I expect my wife to cook. That's what I do. But while we're still on the topic of the finances, I mean, just for anybody watching, I think, as we all share, I've shared some of my downfalls and whatnot, but I think it's easier said than done, but I recommend sitting down with your better half and
Yes.
make a plan, make a budget plan, how much to save, how much to spend.
Yeah, so
And
you have to.
Look at your what's coming in, what's going out, and what's important for our future, whether it be 6 months, a year, and 5 years on the line, so on and so forth. I recommend Dave Ramsey book. No
Yeah.
endorsement, but if you haven't, was it Baby Step book? Really good book to read. It helped me sort of get a budget plan going and really changed my expectations on finances from that point of
Yeah,
view.
man, you have
That was
to.
Dave Ramsey, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, Gordon Ramsay also comes out with a book that's about cooking. But,
Yeah.
different expectations.
yeah, different expectations.
Man, hallelujah. Ooh.
Well, you mentioned earlier, bringing home the bacon, going to work, coming back, and then the wife is with the kids and whatnot, and so putting myself in those shoes, because this creates a ripple effects, right? I'm coming home, getting out of work, getting off late, coming home, crying kids, angry wife, and what do I want?
Peace.
Hot
Sometimes.
meal. Hot meal.
Hot meal, right? Well, or I want my wife.
Yeah.
I want my wife. Hey, give me some attention, give me some love and affection, but she's has all these emotions that's the last thing on her mind, and sometimes that could create some friction and some fight. Like, hey, I want to have sex. No, I need some alone time. No, I need you. No, I need me. So
Yeah.
on, and I've learned this the hard way. A lot of times when I want sex, as a man, I want sex. Well, that was my own expectations. I'm married now. I can have sex whenever I want. I'm gonna have sex.
Yeah.
And that could be far from the truth.
Yeah.
Oh.
A lot farther, but there's a simple solution to that, and actually that's found in 1 Corinthians 10, I believe. And, it says that, let me find it real quick.
1 Corinthians 10.
No, I think it's 6. I think it's, I'm sorry, not 6, 7. Let's see. It says that the husband should fulfill his marital duties to his wife, and likewise the wife to her husband. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but yields it to her husband. In the same way, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but yields it to his wife. And it says, do not deprive each other except perhaps by mutual consent. That's the biggest thing, is mutual consent.
Yes.
So, and that's for a time, so that you may devote yourself to prayer. I think there has to be that communication where you have to express your intent, like, hey, hon, we need some time together. It's, you're my better half and I expect these things. And then your wife can tell you, like, listen, I don't want to because I've just had it up to here, with everything. I think if there's a mutual consent from both parties, I think that will help out a little bit more. But does that happen? No.
Well, I mean, as easier said than done. I'm not saying, but like right now, how you're presenting it. Oh yes, it's fine. Yes, let's do. Oh, we have the agreement right here. Yes, of course.
I didn't say that we weren't going to get married.
Right,
So,
but you add emotions and a whole day in front of it that just happened beforehand,
Plus-
and that's a
yeah, Paul wasn't married when he wrote that.
Yeah.
that's a complete different conversation.
Yeah.
So just put yourself in that situation. Lisa's pissed, and the girls didn't get their way. It's been probably someone got in trouble at school and whatnot, and you're like, you've had a bad day. You're like, I want now. Just imagine
No, I mean, I'm laughing because, I used to think like that too, because, I've got so much energy, like I want it all the time, and that, I'm trying to make a move, and she's like, no, move your hand, what are you talking? Because she knows, but then I will get mad, but then I realize, like, you know what? It's not all about me,
Yes.
And that's something that I learned, that slow down, I mean, I already know, if I make a move and then my hands get slapped, you better stop, boy.
Get turned on a lot.
Yeah.
But then after I like you say, I used to get mad, and so did I, and sometimes I still do it, that frustration. But I think it's good once you know it, once you understand it. Okay, so how can I make my wife feel loved and appreciated, and change that expectation from I want you to do this to, hey, we want to do this because we've treated each other the right way, how we're supposed to. I love you, and I've showed you that I love you. Not, I want you for your body right now.
Right. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's,
No, that's. I think you said enough. That's pretty good. I mean, we have to make the. I mean, the expectation is obviously that we're the men. We rah 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 rah. But I think the better expectation we should have is actually, you were right about being romantic, in the sense that we should both want to do it, not just one, not just one, but actually both of us. So we have to do the effort in actually creating that atmosphere. Put on some, Marvin Gaye, or
Set the tone.
Yeah.
Get some flowers.
get some candles, and I mean, you'll blow them out in like a couple minutes anyway. So
yeah.
so,
You know what? Also, I found out too that women, they're more easy. I mean, they can, they're cool. I mean, they can hold on, not having sex. I mean, they can just go on from all they want is, as long as you tell them how much you love them, how much special they are to you. They just, man, that's more than anything to them. Yeah, sex is a big thing, but to women, it's like, I don't really need it.
yeah.
And men is like, I do.
What a sense of God's humor, right? To make us kind of completely different. I mean,
Like-
not speaking for every couple, but like,
Yes.
for a good like majority is like, yeah, the guy, hey, all the time. The woman, like, relax. But
Yes.
and it's I think it's God's will for us to like, hey, communicate and understand one
Yes.
another and submit to one another.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's a
I
big
mean,
word right there.
growing up, I remember, that, if you want to, a girl to show you love, I mean, that's the only way they're going to show you love. If you go and, and have sex with them, So that was all in our mind, growing up like that, so it's not true, I mean, it's all about, man, just saying those things, that gets to the person, Sometimes by just speaking, the love, how you feel, and just sometimes just by touching her, she knows how much you love her.
In a non-sexual way.
Right, yes, yes.
There's a difference.
yes. Man, yes. Ooh.
Yeah, and I think as men, we can't have that expectation. Now, I'm just saying this because I'm more convicted that we can't have the expectation to say that, well, because we take care of all the household and finances and everything else, that this is my way of showing you I love you. That's our duty. We as men, like, this is the duty that God gave us. That hey, if I'm going to give you a woman to live in your household, your duty is to take care of her, but I command you to love her. And that's completely different.
Yes.
Duty is duty. That's something we have to do.
Requirement.
Yeah, that's love on the other hand, that's completely different. That's a command, and a command is something that we have to bring forth and fall through. So, the Bible says, wives, submit yourselves to your husbands as you do to the Lord. But then it says, husbands, love your wives, and not submit yourselves. It says, love your wives. It does say submit yourselves to one another, but then it uses us. Women get told to submit twice for a reason. We get told to submit and to love, and that's a different reason too. And then that's
To God,
Ephesians,
all
5.
of them.
Because I think for a woman, it comes more naturally to love.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
to a man, it's not so natural. And
No.
that's why we have to be commanded to
Yeah,
do
we have to be
it.
commanded to love. Yeah,
Yes.
And same thing with submitting. I don't think it comes natural for a woman to submit.
No.
Because especially now in today's day and age,
Oh,
But I guess the darker the skin, the more feistier the women tend to be. I guess I don't know. Maybe that's just my
Yes.
interpretation.
I mean, no, you're right, because I know so many couples that with a woman, they go to school, they all of a sudden they go out to work and they're making more money than men. And sometimes, when the man allow the woman to wear the pants for such a long time, and sometimes the man wants to take back those pants, the woman don't want to let go of those pants. Like, ooh, no, it feels good, But that right there is not gonna work, I know 100%, it didn't work for me before I came to the Lord. But when it worked for us, that Jesus is in the center of our marriage.
Amen.
you know, and that's the only way.
The only way.
Yeah, that's the only way. So yes.
Yeah, no, if it wasn't for the Lord, I don't think I'd be married. To tell you the truth, honestly, yeah, it was the Lord that taught me not only humility but also, loving, like what true love is. You know, that unconditional love that you love beyond, yourself, beyond your, what the other person does to you, and I think that's what really solidified our marriage, was really more being in the faith than anything else, because we were married for, I would say, 9 years or 8 years before we came to the faith. You know, we were already at that point where we were just butting heads all the time. But once we encountered the Lord, then we realized that there is a structure and order and how to live, especially in marriage, that completely just changed our perspective. So,
yes.
yeah.
You know, something you said, I think it was last time we met up, man. And you just, seeing your wife through the eyes of the Lord, and like, my wife is perfect, my wife is beautiful, like, I love her so much, and like I've been being intentional. And then yesterday, Frankie too preached on, like, hey, just focus on the what is right, what is true, what is righteous, and I just I've been every day, like, Lord, thank you for my wife, Lord. Thank just on trying to focus on everything that is good about her and not her flaws. Like, her flaws, I see them, but I'm trying to look past them and just I see you.
Amen.
Because again, it's not for the Lord. I'd be a lot more different. I'd be more sin in the flesh, more butting heads with my wife, and it's not the goal. It's not. I mean, our marriage is supposed to glorify Christ.
Yes.
Yeah.
We married to glorify Christ. He created marriage. He created man and woman, and
Marriage is a window to the gospel.
yeah.
You have to think that the church is the bride of Christ, and that we come in that perfect union, that harmony that's supposed to exist, becoming one body. I mean, to think that, like, just like in marriage, the church is the body of Christ, and in marriage, you're still one flesh, one body.
Yes.
So having that like-mindedness, where we have the same mind, same heart, where one is looking out for the interests of the other, I think that's what creates a better marriage, and always having that expectation for ourselves. What does the other person need in our lives? How can I serve the other person better than it? And in spite of whatever clashes or anything we may have, I think it's because honestly, if a guy were to talk to me sometimes the way that a spouse would talk to her husband, there'd be some argument there. It wouldn't come out the same. But we also have to have that in mind, that they are the weaker vessel, and we can turn the other cheek at times, and and just love, show that love, and that's why I just sometimes, like, if I just get really upset at the household, just it's not in order or what have you, I'll just go read my word, and let that go ahead and minister to me at the time, and make me see my family, especially my spouse, my beloved, how the Lord sees her. So.
Amen. Yes. I mean, to me, one thing that I press the Lord, don't allow me never to say anything negative about my wife, any words that can hurt her feelings, because one word can just kill your wife spiritually, and I'm always careful, yes, we argue, but I'm always careful, because like my brother, my pastor said, sometimes, somebody else will say some stuff like that, and sometimes I just listen before I say anything, because I know myself, the stuff that
Yeah,
so,
no, I mean, I've said some things that I instantly regret. I'm like, oh man, I crushed her. I failed her.
Yeah, but you know what? To God be the glory. That if it wasn't for my wife, I mean, she's been in my corner for all these years, and she's my biggest supporter in everything that I do, and even when I fall short, she's the one picking me up. Come on, babe, let's do this. You got this, and I'm so grateful for my wife, man. Like, ooh. Like I said, I'm in love with my wife, and I will say it again and again. I still get the butterflies, After almost 16 years. Wow.
So I think it's important to note too. We're getting ready to wrap up, but I mean, even you come into marriage with your set expectations, but as the years go on, we still carry expectations. Maybe we develop new ones, but we still carry expectations of how we think the day is going to be, how we think the wife should be, and whatever the case may be. There are always going to be expectations, and we have to, as men, not rely on the expectations, but rely on the Word of God, rely on
Mm-hmm.
helping my wife be better instead of putting her down when she has failed our expectations in our minds.
Amen.
Well, no, it's what the Word of God says. You know, like we have to present our wives as being blameless, as being pure, without wrinkle,
Without
without spot or
blemish.
blemish. Like, but it says that we present our wives that way. So if we're belittling our wives, you know, are we presenting her that way?
Mm.
You know, to think,
Yeah.
you know, like how does Christ present us? I mean, that's choking me up right now to think that the Lord doesn't present me as being, look at this sinner, look what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
No, at the same, on the contrary, he says, this is my beloved disciple whom I love and whom I died for. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so in the same manner, though, we have to present our wives in that same standard where, like, this is my wife. You don't speak. You know, get your wife's name out of my mouth. No, not like that, but you know, but more in the sense of, you know, hey, you know what? This is my wife. You know, she bears my last name.
That's right.
So, you know, to think like, okay, this woman, you know, told her dad, hey, I don't want your last name. I'm going to take this man's last name forever. And, you know, till death do us part. And now I'm going to go ahead and live in his household under his family. So we have that duty to present them as being, you know, our family members, you know, an extension of our family and, you know,
Yes.
in love. So,
Man, I mean, for myself, just to grow together with your wife, you know. I go back when my wife I met her when she was 18, you know, and to see my wife who she is now, I mean, I'm so proud of that woman. You know, the woman that she is. She's such a good mom, you know, daughter, you know. Man, it's just all around, you know, I mean, she's the best, you know, and that right there is because I'm able to love her, you know, to not to see, you know, her shortcomings, but in her shortcomings, I'm right there, just like, I got you,
Yeah.
you know, and that right there, you know, I mean, I think, you know, I'm always said that the best is yet to come,
yeah.
you know, so I'm so excited what God is gonna do this year. Ooh, come on now.
All right. All right, my brothers, we're getting ready to wrap it up. Please, if you have those expectations, talk over them with your spouse, and let's break these expectations down and let's build each other up, not tear each other down. Love you guys. See you
Love
next
guys.
time.
God bless you.
Hallelujah.
Thank you.
God
Gotta
bless
go
you
kiss
guys.